Golden Radio Hour.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
And finally, boys and girls, I hope you've all been to the school library. We'll begin book reports on Monday. Till then, have a happy Thanksgiving. Walk, please. No running. And button your coats. It's cold outside. Knock, knock. Oh, hi, Lynn. Did you get your car fixed? Not yet. You're kidding. It was supposed to be ready yesterday. Something about a part they had to order. Well, come on. I'll give you a ride home. It's only a few blocks. Don't be silly. You're right on the way. I have to straighten up first. Straighten what? Your classroom looks better than mine. You know, Helen, they have people who come in after we're gone. They're called janitors. I know. You're very kind, really, but I have to... Have to what? Who's that? Where? In the hall. I don't hear anything. That song. Hello? Is someone there? What's the matter? I thought I heard a child. Take a look. All the kids are gone, and we're off for 4 whole days, okay? Now grab your stuff and let's get out of here. We can have a drink if you want. I know a perfect little place. I don't know. I do. Trust me, they have a great happy hour, and you won't believe the men. From the bank and that new office building downtown. You go ahead. I'm fine. Oh, I get it. Hot date tonight, huh? Nothing like that. I have a test to grade. So, you've got till Monday. I know, but maybe some other time. All right, be that way. Get your papers. I'll walk you out. How long has it been now? Since you started teaching? Oh, about a year. 2 next spring. Then don't you think it's time to loosen up? Do something for yourself once in a while. You know what they say, all work and no play. I go out sometimes. Yeah? When? Well, see. It's just that with all the homework and the extra credit... You spend more time on it than they do. You know something? It sounds funny, but I really don't mind. I mean it, Lynn. Kids grow up so fast, they need all the help they can get. They're not the only ones. But they seem so... vulnerable. Well, maybe they are. But they survive. The bumps and bruises, the sore throats and earaches, it all works out, one way or the other. Look at us. What? We made it, didn't we? In spite of everything, we survived? I guess. Don't ask me how. I'm parked across the street. Last chance. Careful, the light's about to change. Come on, Helen. We don't have to wait for the crossing guard. We're grown-ups, remember? That man. What man? In the car. Sort of distinguished. Don't stare. He's staring at you. Have you seen him before? Not around here. I'd remember. Lynn, do you ever see people and they remind you of someone, but you're not sure who? Someone you might have met once and... All the time. The trouble is, they don't remember me. It's just a feeling I get sometimes. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll open your side. Get in. No, I'll walk. But it's freezing. It's all right, honestly. It'll give me a chance to think. Are you sure? I'm sure. See ya. Hey, you have some place to go on Thanksgiving? What? Oh, yes, of course. Dr. Anderson's. Doctor, huh? You didn't tell me about him. He's an old friend of the family. Well, if it doesn't work out, you can always come over to my place. I'm cooking a really big bird. Thanks, Lynn. Call me later. I will.
November, a wind stirs. Leaves blow in the streets, and people move a little bit faster just to get home before dark. To this, add a young woman named Helen Foley, age 28, who has a calling. She believes in helping children, whenever and wherever she can. Taken all together, these are the improbable ingredients of a basic human emotion called fear. And the recipe is almost complete. All that's needed now is the face of a little girl, as perfect as a cameo and as solemn as a sphinx. Because Helen Foley is about to learn the properties of terror. In a few moments, a most unusual child will take her by the hand and lead her on a journey into the Twilight Zone.
And now, the Twilight Zone and our story, Nightmare as a Child, starring Bonnie Somerville, with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
Hello? Is anybody there? It's all right, sweetheart. You don't have to be afraid.
I'm not.
Well, hi.
Hello.
And how are you?
Fine.
You're new here, aren't you?
What?
Just that I've never seen you before.
You haven't?
Are you visiting? Is that it? Are you visiting someone in the building?
Not exactly.
You aren't very talkative, are you? Not much to say? Actually, that's good. That's very good. It's not wise to talk to strangers.
I don't.
I guess I'm a stranger. But it's all right. I'm kind of an expert on children. Quiet ones and noisy ones. All kinds.
I know.
You do? But how would you know that? I'll bet you don't know that I teach school.
I know all about you.
I see.
I even know what you're going to do.
Do you?
You're going inside. 'Cause this is your apartment.
You're right. It is. Would you like some hot chocolate, honey?
Well,
On cold afternoons when I come back from school, that's the first thing I usually make. A nice cup of hot chocolate.
but no marshmallows.
What?
You don't like marshmallows, do you?
Why, no. As a matter of fact, I've never liked them.
I don't either.
All right, then. Absolutely no marshmallows. Here we are. Aren't you coming in?
If you want me to.
Oh, you really should tell your mother where you are.
Why?
I wouldn't want her to worry.
She won't.
Well, if you're sure, go ahead and sit down. The couch is over by the... Oh, I see you found it. I'll just take off my coat before I put the milk on.
You don't have to hurry.
All right, but I can hardly wait to have that cocoa. It's awfully chilly, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me, are you in school?
In a way.
What grade are you in?
Different ones.
Different?
It depends.
My, you must be very smart then. What brings you to this floor? I mean, if you don't live in the building. Of course, if you do live here.
I came to see someone.
Oh? I thought so. A friend of yours?
Sort of.
What's her name? Maybe I know her.
Maybe you do.
Really? I must say, you've caught my curiosity.
Don't let it get too hot. The milk.
Oh, yes, thank you. It didn't start to boil yet.
Good.
Here we are. I hope I didn't make it too rich.
No, it looks just right.
Careful. It might be hot.
It's fine. I'm glad it isn't too hot. I don't like hot things very much.
I don't blame you. I don't either.
I know. You got burned once.
What?
A long time ago. With hot tea.
How did you know that?
I just do. You still have a scar. Right below your elbow.
But how could you...
When you were a little girl, a pot of tea fell off the stove. You were playing in the kitchen. That's how you got burned.
Is it?
Don't you remember?
Oh, why, no, I didn't remember. Until just now, when you said it. My arm, yes. My arm.
How could you forget that?
There are a lot of things I've forgotten.
What kind of things?
Things that took place when I was a certain age. Seems like a different life now.
Does it?
Something else must have happened to me then, a long time ago. I'm not sure exactly what it was. But there are some things that I'm rather vague about.
I know that too.
How in the world?
I know all about you, remember?
Yes. Yes, I do remember your saying that.
What's the matter?
Nothing, I think I've had enough cocoa for now.
Is that why you're going to the window? To open it? Because you're hot?
I'm not going to open the window, that's ridiculous. It's too cold outside to open the window. In fact, I hear there's a storm coming tonight.
There is.
You know that too, I suppose.
Yes.
What else do you know?
Oh, about people.
Which people?
The ones you see when you're walking.
When I'm walking?
They look familiar to you sometimes.
Now, why ever would you say that?
When you pass them on the street, or see them in a bank, or they walk by you, they look like somebody you used to know, don't they?
Well, once in a while.
But when you try to remember where you saw them, you can't, no matter how hard you try.
I wouldn't say it's quite like that.
Yes, it is. It happens lots of times. Like today.
Today?
Did somebody go by you today who looked familiar?
Why, no.
Really?
It's not very polite to contradict people. I told you, I didn't...
Didn't what?
Nothing.
You just remembered, didn't you?
There was someone.
That's right. Outside the school. You were crossing the street. There was a man in a car.
A man in a car, yes. Stopped for a light. I looked at him through the windshield as I walked past, and then he drove on, but I wondered...
You recognized him?
No, I didn't recognize him. He just looked so...
So familiar to you?
Yes.
He made you frightened, didn't he?
I really don't know what business it is of yours.
But he did. It's okay. He makes me feel that way, too.
You know him?
I don't know his name. He looks familiar, though. Like somebody I saw once, in a dream. And I know he frightens me. Just like he frightens you.
That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Who are you?
I told you.
No, you didn't. Where do you live?
Around here.
What's your name? Don't look away from me. Do you have a name?
Marky. That's not my real name, but that's what people call me. I said it's Marky. Did you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I heard you. Marky. That's a pretty name.
It's my nickname. Is that all you've got to say?
I think it's a very cute name. What more do you want me to say?
I thought it might remind you of something.
Well, it doesn't.
Feeling warm again?
No, I'm not, thank you.
Then why do you have sweat on your forehead?
What? Oh. You're right, it does seem a little warm in here now.
I don't think so. I think it's very comfortable.
No, it's warm. Strange, I haven't turned the heater on yet.
What's that?
I didn't hear anything.
I did.
Oh, that was the front door of the building, down below.
What floor is he going to?
How would I know?
He's coming here, to the 5th floor.
Well, we're not the only people on this floor. There are 4 other apartments.
I know, but he's coming to this one.
Is he?
I have to go.
Honey, there's nothing to be afraid of, I promise.
There is. Do you have a back door?
Yes, but...
I'm going now.
Wait, please.
Goodbye. I'll come back later.
Who is it?
Miss Foley. Miss Helen Foley? Miss Foley, do I have the right apartment?
Who is it, please?
It's Peter Selden, Miss Foley. I don't know whether you remember me, but I knew your mother very well.
Who?
That's better.
Mr...
Well, do you remember me now?
Why, you do look familiar.
That's a start.
Didn't I see you?
I thought you looked at me a little oddly. Yes, that's right. In front of the school, I was stopped for a red light.
So you were?
Do you mind if I come in for a moment?
Why, no. Please do.
Thank you.
Won't you sit down, Mr.
Selden.
A friend of my mother's, you say? I'm not sure I...
It's been a lot of years, Miss Foley. Quite a few, indeed. 18 or 19 at the very least.
That long? Then I must have been...
Got you stumped, huh? Well, it's no wonder. As you were just a child then. You couldn't have been more than 10 or 11. But I remember you. See, I used to work for your mother. Peter Selden, her financial consultant. Any bells yet?
I do seem to recall the name.
I'd heard that you... Well, after the tragedy, you were ill for a time. Isn't that right?
Yes. Quite some time.
What were you able to recall?
Pardon?
You said you seemed to recall...
I'm not sure. It was all so terrible.
In that time of recuperation afterwards... No, I shouldn't bring this up.
No, it's all right.
Well, in all those weeks and months, were you able to recall what it was that... What I mean is, Miss Foley, you drew a blank after that evening. I wondered if it ever came back to you. Any of the details to help with the investigation.
That evening?
The evening of the tragedy, when your poor mother was killed.
I don't know that I...
No, it must be very painful to even think of it. I should apologize.
No, it comes back to me in pieces sometimes. Only vague, disjointed things, that's all. I suffered from shocks.
Trauma, the doctors called it.
And then it took me a while. I was in therapy for a long time. After I got better, I moved to Chicago. I lived with an aunt there.
Yeah, so I'd heard.
I've only been back here for a year or so. I teach elementary school.
Yes, I'd heard that, too. You'll forgive my interest, but I remembered you so well. I always wondered what became of you. Then I was passing through town on business, and, well, someone pointed you out to me, and I just felt I had to stop and say hello.
I'm glad you did. Truly.
Your mother was a very special woman.
Yes, she was. You say you worked for her. I still can't quite...
I worked for her almost a year. I handled some of her investments at the time.
Yes, there was someone. Selden, you say?
That's right. But enough of the past. It's wonderful to know that you've grown up the way you have.
I don't know how wonderful it is.
And now you've become a special woman, too, in your own right. Very, very special. As anyone can see. I should have known. It couldn't have been any other way.
Please, Mr. Selden. There's nothing in the least special about me. I live alone. I go to work in the mornings, come home. Nothing at all out of the ordinary, believe me.
On the contrary. I was always quite fond of you. Such a beautiful little girl. Long, golden hair.
All children are beautiful at that age.
Not to such a degree.
Then I'm afraid your memory may be playing tricks on you.
No, I remember it all perfectly. I lived in the same apartment complex. I heard you screaming that night. I was the first one to find her. Miserable. Tragic thing to be attacked like that for no reason. They never found the person who did it, did they?
No, I don't think they did. Though I can't be sure. I'm not sure about anything that went on then. It just sort of left my mind, all of it.
Oh, that's probably a blessing. At least for you.
All I remember is a kind of vague, nightmarish feeling. Waking up in bed, hearing my mother scream, and seeing this person.
You saw his face?
I don't know. I really don't. If I did, it's one of the many things I've forgotten, or at least pushed out of my mind.
Pity for the police. There's no statute of limitations on murder, you know.
The police did all they could under the circumstances. So, tell me, Mr. Selden, are you here for a while?
No. I'm just passing through.
So you said. I forgot. Well, I'm delighted you stopped.
The pleasure's mine.
Excuse me for a second, would you?
Certainly.
Hello?
Helen? Sorry to bother you.
Dr. Anderson, how are you?
Very well. And you, my dear?
Oh, I'm fine. Just a little cold in the apartment is all. They say there's a storm coming.
I don't mean to intrude, but I wanted to remind you about tomorrow night.
Tomorrow?
Thanksgiving dinner. come as early as you like. And please don't bring a thing. We have more than enough food.
You know, I really should be going.
No, please, I'll be right with you.
You have a visitor.
That's all right, a friend of my mother's.
And who might that be?
Someone who worked with her.
How do you feel about that? Any anxiety?
No, I think I remember him.
You do? You've never mentioned him before?
It's beginning to come back. He worked with her on some things.
We'll talk about this tomorrow. For now, I want you to make note of any associations that come to mind. If you're troubled by any new recollections, call me at once. I'm always available, my child.
Thank you, Doctor. I will. I promise.
Yeah, I've kept you too long. I'll be going now.
I'm sorry. Wouldn't you care for a coffee first or a cup of cocoa?
It looks like you already poured one for yourself. I interrupted you, and now it's gone cold.
This cup? Why, it's not mine. I put mine in the sink. It's...
Something the matter, Miss Foley?
That's odd.
What is?
She'd almost finished her cocoa, or at least I thought she had, but here it sits, untouched. That is odd. But she's a rather odd little thing herself.
You're referring to...
The little girl who was in here, just before you came. Strangest little thing. So solemn, so wise, you might say. That's the only way I can describe her.
Well, I'll say goodbye now.
I must ask her how she does that.
Does what?
Her trick. Sitting there sipping cocoa and leaving a full cup.
Yes, that sounds like a regular magician.
Little Marky, I mean.
Marky.
That's her nickname. She wouldn't tell me her real name. Marky, that's what she calls herself.
You don't say.
Don't you care for the name, Mr. Selden?
Oh, in fact, I like it very much. That was your nickname, Miss Foley, when you were a little girl. They called you Marky.
Marky. Marky. Marky.
Something wrong?
What? Oh, nothing's wrong. Except that it's quite a coincidence. This little thing camping on my doorstep having the same name as I did.
I suppose it is.
Now that's odd, too.
I'm sorry, what is?
The way things are coming back.
Oh?
You're right, I was called Marky. I haven't thought about it in years. But that is what people called me, isn't it?
I'm sure that given time, you'll remember a lot more. Is that what the doctor said?
Dr. Anderson?
Yes, that the memories would come back gradually?
He doesn't know. None of them do.
You're looking a bit pale. Here, perhaps you should sit down.
No, I'm all right. I was just listening. Full of talents, our little Marky.
Well, how do you mean?
Her singing, for one.
Oh, she sang for you.
She's singing now.
I don't hear anything. Has she stopped?
I mean that. Listen.
To what?
Her singing. Can't you hear the singing?
No. I guess you have better ears than I do.
She's stopped now.
Oh, there's something else. It almost slipped my mind.
I'm really surprised you couldn't hear her. It was very plain. What's that?
I thought you might like to have this. It's a snapshot. Yeah, see?
But how...
Look at those golden curls, the eyes. She looks so much like her mother. Wouldn't you agree?
Where did you get this?
Well, your mother gave it to me a long time ago. So very much like your mother now. Why, when you opened the door and I got a good look at you, I was...
I don't understand.
What, Miss Foley? I'm sorry, what don't you understand?
This. It's a picture of the little girl, the one who came here today. A picture of Marky.
Don't laugh at me, I'm telling you. I'll do something about it. I will.
Get out!
You...
Mommy?
Help me! Please! Help me! Silence!
Mommy!
Marky? What are you doing sitting out there?
Playing with my doll. Did that man leave yet?
He left some time ago. I must have fallen asleep on the couch. Marky, it's very late.
Is it?
past your bedtime. Don't you think you should go home now? Your mother will be terribly worried.
No, she won't. She won't be worried at all.
Yes, she will.
I don't have a mother. Not anymore.
You don't have a...
Do you remember now? About Marky? Do you, Helen?
I think I'm beginning to.
And the time you burned your arm with the hot water from the teapot?
Yes. Yes, that too.
You got a nasty burn.
What are you doing?
Showing you my arm. Here's the scar. Just below the elbow.
Let me see that.
The same as on your arm.
Who are you? What's your real name?
You better let go. You're hurting me.
I'll let go, but first I want to know who you are. I want to know where you're from and what your true name is. Tell me. Do you understand? Tell me.
You don't know? You don't have any idea? And you were doing so well, Helen. You were starting to remember things.
What things? Remember what things?
What's that?
Where?
On the coffee table.
I wanted to ask you about this picture. Mr. Selden left it.
Is it familiar?
He said that's supposed to be me. That's supposed to be me when I was a little girl about your age. But it isn't. It isn't me at all. It's you, Marky. And that's impossible, too. How could it be?
And you still don't understand, do you?
Understand what? And that's...
That I'm you, Helen.
And what?
Now,
and that's...
Dan, and do you? I'm you.
What?
Now,
and that's... Talk is...
And do you? I am you.
What?
Now,
and that's...
I'm you when you were you. I'm old you.
What?
Now,
and that's...
Marky when you were you. I lived with your mother in the
and
other
that's
apartment. I was asleep in the bed that night. It was so cold. And the man came to visit. And your mother let him in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do. He was arguing with Mother downstairs, and she tried to run away. And she ran upstairs to her room. And the man came after her and caught her. And he choked her. Remember, Helen?
Yes.
He choked her, and then he picked up something heavy, and he hit her on the head, and she fell. And then you screamed. And the man looked down at you. He looked right at you. And you screamed, Helen. You screamed so loud.
The storm.
It was raining that night, too.
The lights, they've gone off. Marky, stay close to me. I'll light a candle. I have one somewhere. Marky? Marky, where are you? Be careful. Who's there?
Take it easy, Helen. It's only me.
Lynn! Oh, God, I thought...
Thought what?
I don't know. I fell asleep on the couch, and I must have been dreaming an awful dream.
I shouldn't have walked in like that, but I heard your voice, and the door was open. You okay?
Oh, come in, please.
I got to thinking about you, over here, alone. I'll bet you haven't eaten.
Actually, no, but...
So I thought, I'll stop by, and if you're hungry, we'll order something to go.
You must be soaked.
I got here just in time. Now the power's gone out. It looks like the whole block.
I was looking for a candle. Now, where are those matches?
I've got some. Here.
Great, thanks.
Who were you talking to?
Oh, that was Marky.
Nice name. Where have you got him hidden?
It's a little girl. I want you to meet her. Maybe you can tell me if what she says is... Marky, honey, you can come out now.
I don't see anybody.
She was here, I swear.
It's raining really hard, but we can still order Chinese. They deliver.
Yes. Yes, I'd like that.
Oh, something hot. Sweet and sour, whatever.
What's the number?
I think it's...
Oh, no.
What?
There's no dial tone.
The phone lines must be down.
I'll make us some coffee.
How far's the restaurant?
Just at the corner.
Then I'll go get some stuff.
No, I couldn't let you do that.
Don't worry about it. You have an umbrella, don't you?
Yes, but...
Plus, I've got my car. No problem, honest. I'll get soup and everything. The works.
Then I'm paying. Just let me get my purse. You are too nice, Lynn.
Tell that to my last date.
Here, that should be enough. I'll get the coffee going.
Be back in a flash. I'll get an extra fortune cookie in case your little friend shows up. Where did you say the umbrella...
Behind the door.
Got it.
Don't open it indoors. It's bad luck.
If you say so.
Is she your friend?
Marky.
Her name's Lynn, isn't it?
Where were you, in the other room?
She's nice. Not like that man.
Mr. Selden? You're wrong about him, Marky. He's very nice. He just stopped by to say hello. He's an old friend.
No, he's not. You don't even remember him. But you've seen him before.
I know I have.
Is it coming back yet?
Is what coming back?
The last time you saw him, before today.
I don't know what you're talking about. Now sit down, and I'll make you some fresh hot chocolate.
Hear that? Someone's coming.
She must have forgotten something. Lynn, is that...
Hello again, Miss Foley.
Mr. Selden? What are you...
We didn't quite finish our conversation.
Where's Lynn?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about her.
Why do you say that?
That's just it, Miss Foley. There are things you don't understand. See, we need to talk. In private. I want to bring you up to date. You've been living in ignorance too long.
My friend's coming right back. Any minute now.
I seriously doubt it. At the moment, she's resting quietly in her car outside. I'm sure no one will notice her until tomorrow morning, the earliest.
What are you saying?
I want to impart some knowledge, Miss Foley. Obviously, it's begun to come back to you, in bits and pieces, as you say. I should be the first, don't you think? It's only appropriate, you see, because I was the man in your mother's condo that night. The one who followed her up the stairs to her room. The one you saw, however briefly.
Get out or I'll scream.
Oh, I'm afraid that wouldn't do any good.
There are people in the other apartments.
No, they're all empty. It's Thanksgiving week. Or have you forgotten that too? They're away visiting their families. You're alone on this floor. Quite alone.
Stay away from me.
Oh, I plan to. I'll be long gone and no one will know I was here. Even your doctor friend doesn't know my name. Just as soon as I tell you about how I killed your mother.
But why? Why?
Well, there was some trouble with the books. I pleaded with her to cover for me, but your mother, rest her soul, was a particularly rigid, straight-laced woman, and she was about to inform on me. When she went upstairs to the bedroom, I had to follow her. If only you had stayed in your room. I would have gone after you next, but your screams brought people there, and I had to get out in a hurry. It wasn't until later that I learned you had no recollection of who you saw. You blacked out the entire incident. Don't worry about the candle. I can see you in the lightning. There you are.
Let me go!
You haven't been neglected all these years, Helen. I've kept tabs on you. Chicago, college, then here. Yeah, I knew there'd come a day when the pieces would finally fit together, and you'd start to remember. That's why I came back. I had to come back to take care of unfinished business. You're the only person who knows exactly how your mother died.
What are you going to do?
Oh, a simple fall, I should think. It was dark, you tripped on the stairs. Only that much more believable with the power outage. Come on, come with me, Helen. We're going out onto the landing. No, don't look down. It'll be easier that way.
No! No!
Here. Oh, what a kick you have there. Oh, don't bother to run. There's only one way down.
Help me! Somebody please help me!
Come along, Helen. You know I'll find you, even in a darkened hallway.
You keep away from her.
Well. Who do we have here?
Don't you know?
That voice.
I'll light the candle so you can see.
That's not possible. Come here, you little wretch. You...
Marky, look out! The stairs!
Yes, the stairs. One more step, and up.
Watch out, mister. Wherever I go, you're going with me.
You...
Marky! Marky!
Code 6, 105 North Avenue, 52.
Male, broken neck, 55 years of age. Hey, Fran, want to get a picture of the body?
Sure thing, Lieutenant.
How is she, Doc? Gonna be all right?
I've given her a sedative.
She's a very fortunate woman. If she were any less fortunate, we'd have a homicide victim on our hands. At least that's the way she tells it.
So where's the other one?
Other?
She keeps talking about some kid. Says a little girl fell downstairs with him.
There is no other body. Only the man. Name of Selden, according to his ID.
The child she speaks of. That is her.
What?
A part of her buried deep inside. A memory that finally had to come out. It took the form of herself as a child.
Too weird for me, Doc.
The human imagination itself is weird. But sometimes in a crisis, it could mean the difference between life and death.
Here's her other friend, Lieutenant. Just like she said. Found her in a car half a block down. Somebody slugged her on the head and dumped her inside.
Helen? Where's Helen?
Oh, she's doing okay. Just a couple of bruises. Take it easy, young lady.
I want to see her.
There's plenty of time for that. You're both going to County General to get checked out.
Here's the ambulance now, sir.
Lynn, is that you? Here. I'm here.
Hello.
Hello, little one.
Where are you going?
Back to work. I was sick for a while, but now I'm better. I have a whole classroom full of kids about your age. They're waiting for me.
Oh, are you a teacher?
Yes, I am. You know something?
What?
You have a lovely smile.
I do?
It's wonderful, truly. Do me a favor? Don't ever lose it.
My dolly has a smile, too. See?
Yes, you both have wonderful smiles.
Bye.
If you're still here later, I'll make us a nice cup of hot chocolate. Would you like that?
Oh, yeah.
Good. I'll see you then. Take care of yourself. Take good care.
Miss Helen Foley, who lived for a time in darkness and woke up from a nightmare, who found a spot on the tapestry of her life and rubbed it clean, then stepped back and got a good look at what she had left behind in the Twilight Zone.
Nightmare as a Child, starring Bonnie Somerville, with Stacy Keach as your narrator, was adapted for radio by Dennis Etchison and written for The Twilight Zone by Rod Serling. Heard in the cast were Dana Bokor, Roger Mueller, Elizabeth Lido, David Darlow, Roderick Peoples, Doug James, Jeff Lupetin, Linda Ryder, Meg Falcon, and Amanda Amari. The producers of The Twilight Zone wish to thank CBS Enterprises and the Rod Serling Estate for making this series possible. This copyrighted radio series is produced and directed by Carl Amari for Falcon Picture Group and Westwood One. Sound design and custom Foley effects for The Twilight Zone by Cerny American creatives Bob Benson, Craig Lee, Michael Slaybach, and Matt Sorrow. To learn more about the Twilight Zone radio dramas and to contact us, visit our official website at twilightzoneradio.com. Doug James speaking.